How has CVA changed the way we approach humanitarian programming?
CVA encouraged humanitarian agencies to adapt or even create new tools to fit into the CVA response programming rather than continue using the old school tools. CVA forces the humanitarian agencies to carry out a specific type of assessments, such as a market assessment, to better understand the local economy and the local market from access, functionality, availability, affordability perspective, because CVA interventions critically contribute to the local market and economy. Also, while implementing the CVA programming, we noticed more engagement of the governments and private sectors in the humanitarian aid for more efficient programming. For example, the engagement of private sectors has been noticed in providing services such as electronic or digital platforms.
Yeah, so I think it has definitely helped us to take a kind of a systemic change approach, because like in the past, when, as we know, that it was this kind of the aid agencies are deciding what the affected community needs in terms of like what they actually have like need after the crisis, like for example, how many quantities of food or supplies or even bottles of water that they need. But I think with the Cash and Voucher Assistance programming, we have kind of providing that decision making to the community themselves, so giving that space to them, so which is really good. And also like they can prioritize on the and wants as well. And obviously there are other practical aspects of it in terms of like the technology aspect, where we use or mobile money or wallets or digital cash and transfers, and and also like other things like electronic vouchers, which has that space.
Moi, je dirais que nous, le système humanitaire, on adore livrer des trucs. On a une liste de choses dont on pense que c'est ce qu'il faut absolument produire, fournir aux gens. Et le cash, c'est autre chose. Il y a cet élément de changement. C'est une autre façon d'aborder la question de comment on interagit avec les gens, comment on les accompagne, comment on les appuie, parce que ça ouvre ce monde des possibilités, un peu comme je le disais en répondant à la première question. Donc, je pense que Cash, c'est aussi un superbe terrain d'expérience et d'apprentissage pour nous, les humanitaires. Ça se concentre moins sur les biens, les choses, et plus sur les gens.
Fundamentally, CVA has challenged and continues to challenge the traditional humanitarian architecture and the kind of sectoral way of working. But what is positive is increasingly we're seeing sectors accept and adapt their programming to integrate CVA, but also use it as a very effective tool in achieving specific sector-specific outcomes, and that's exciting. There's still a long way to go, but it's a space to watch.
From a UNICEF perspective, UNICEF has systematically been implementing humanitarian response that were very strong and very oriented to the supply side or the system side, working with schools, with health centers to make sure that the service was delivered to people. When Cash and Voucher Assistance increased and got momentum, UNICEF systematically started to analyze the needs of the beneficiary in a more holistic way, including the demand side of things. So everything that is linked to financial barriers to access these services. And therefore, of course, for UNICEF, it was important to monetize a lot of the assistance that we were giving in kind. But the real thing that Cash changed within UNICEF was the power that Cash provides to enhance the results that UNICEF is trying to achieve for children in all of the different sectors on UNICEF is leading: education, WASH, child protection, nutrition, and health. And that's really important on how to complement the service delivery component with a cash component that makes sure that these services are really used in the best way, and all of the barrier of the beneficiary are being addressed for enhanced results for children.
Recently, the use of CVA has seen expansion within humanitarian response in all humanitarian aspects, and it's the best option. It gives the beneficiaries greater flexibility in selecting the priorities of their needs. It can positively affect the recipient restoration of their sense of dignity and capacities for choice. So it can positive moving from the in-kind assistance method to the CVA already provided the beneficiaries with the opportunities to cover their needs that failed another sector. This has changed the way we think about changing the humanitarian program.
Ahí personalmente, bueno, que vengo unos años en el tema, es una herramienta muy útil, ¿no? Y es una herramienta que yo considero debería de dimensionarse más allá de sus complejidades. No centrarnos, no, que es difícil, que es complejo, como todo, ¿no? O sea, no creo yo que sea más o menos difícil que armar un kit y llevarlo en medio de un desastre. Es igual complejo. Entonces, yo creo que sí está entrando en la mente de quienes trabajamos en temas humanitarios, por lo menos en Perú, como un recurso, como una herramienta útil que nos sirve ahora en COVID, pero en lo que venga probablemente también nos servirá. Y creo que es un poco el deber de quienes estamos en este tema, saber que si algo es útil, saber que si algo es práctico, que funciona rápidamente, pues hay que difundirlo para quienes se les complica, y está bien que se les complica. Hablo de áreas de operaciones, áreas de finanzas, que es complejo, tienen complejidades efectivamente, pero bueno, para eso estamos, ¿no? Para hacer que esta herramienta, que nos es muy útil, a quienes estamos en lo humanitario, dimensione las implicancias para las distintas áreas. Y eso puede ayudar bastante en el momento de implementar alguna respuesta a emergencia, cualquier tipo de respuesta.
So I think Cash has changed the way we think about, we design, and we implement humanitarian programs, because it has, more than anything else, put beneficiaries at the center of our programming. And of course, it's not just Cash alone that has done that. Many other activities and measures, but Cash has done this more and further than any other modality. Another aspect is that Cash has pushed humanitarian actors to consider local context even more than before, and in particular to consider local markets and the local livelihood systems and the role of private sector actors in local markets. And finally, I would say that Cash has had a tremendous effect in widening and deepening the offer of assistance that too often sectoral agencies were offering to their beneficiaries. And by widening the scope and the value of assistance provided to affected populations, it has challenged the too sectoral, too limited mandate of sectors, agencies, and humanitarian actors. And therefore, if we look at the impact on the people we aim to serve, I think Cash has greatly improved the choice and the flexibility that is being offered by humanitarian actors.